give you a little update. Some of you might have asked what happened to the project, what's going on, at what point are we, and that is what I'm now trying to explain, what we have done. We thought this car should be going to the paint shop before August, but they have been on holiday. Some of their workers have been on holiday. There's a shortage of workers and of labor, and so we had to wait, and now it's raining. You have seen it, it's raining cats and dogs, and that is why the car is still here. It doesn't hurt, but it doesn't progress. That is my concern. But I will show you what other things I have been doing in the meantime. But I would also like to ask you and thank you for the thumbs up and for subscribing and sharing. And if you have any questions or any other things you want to comment on, just write a comment underneath. Click on the bell that you get notified when there's a new video on, and that's it basically. So let's start what has happened. So yes, welcome back, and I'm now giving you a little update on what has happened to our 2+2 project. It hasn't been stalled. I have been away on a trip for about 4 weeks. You have seen my road trip videos, and now I'm back here, and I was thinking it is summer and we can proceed as planned, but it is raining cats and dogs, and that is why the car is still here. They said they were on holiday as well, so there was a 4 weeks break, and now it is raining and we can't get the bare shell over for painting. And that are things which happen and what you have to take into account when you restore your car for your planning and scheduling. I'm always saying that is, and you will know that. You drop something, you ask someone, it always takes longer than you really expected. But that is normal. That is a normal life. And that happens to all the bits, either for the engine, for the paint work, for the gearbox, for everything. And you might even don't get parts in. And that is what I want to show you today, is we have a few things going on contemporarily, and I'm just giving you an overview of what has happened in between, as otherwise you might ask, wow, where did you get these things from? So follow me in this video and I show you what other things I have been doing in between, and then you understand that later on it will only be a reassembly. Yes, and here you see that I have taken the IRS apart, which was a nasty job. Taking the IRS apart is always hard work, but now I have it all cleaned up, and you see these are now the correct hub carriers, and for the later cars, the 6, and I already have ordered the bearings, the U-joints, because when you want to start to reassemble everything, you want to have it already lined up to reassemble, and not. So I have all the shafts here, and let's see what is in here. Okay, you see, I got this done in between. These are the rear brakes. I had cleaned them, sandblasted, and had them now zinc plated. And as these are the first things which go on the IRS, and you see here the IRS, talking about the IRS, I have opted for a 307 ratio because this car came from the States and had the short ratio on it, which was the 331. But we are in Europe, and originally these were equipped in Europe with a 288 diff. And but we're not going that fast anymore with the cars here. We're not going flat out 200 or even more. We might just travel between 80 on the urban roads and maybe 160 on the motorway. So that is the 307 is probably the ideal ratio now. And you see here there is a tag. It's saying 43 by 14 and is a power lock. And this diff is now going into the 2+2. So we will start with this, getting the brakes on, the cage, and then we reassemble from there. And this all has to be set up. The bearings have to be set up, and they are all here. It has to be all trimmed. And what you see here This is, you might have seen my other video on the brakes, and these are already prepared. They have the stainless steel liners in it, and that is not only for the rear, but that also goes for the end, because this car is probably, most probably driven by ourselves, and we want to have it all perfectly done. I'm always restoring my cars that I feel good when my wife is driving the car herself, so she doesn't break down or has any safety issues. So this is all as brand new, you see, and this diff is done by Alan Slawson, the insider. Then now he is the guru of the Salisbury diffs, and I'm always very proud that he's doing my diffs, and so that is one of him, all done perfectly and correctly, and they are really so tight that you can't really move them. Then I have the brake components all in here, and everything is like new. We have new rotors here, and they are the thick ones. Remember, the early cars, they have slimmer ones, they're a bit thinner. And there we have the bearings for the cage. There we have the mountings for the IRS. And you might wonder what's over there. Yeah, I'm also rebuilding another spare IRS for one of my other cars. It's just to have a spare one complete, and that I put that, you see, this is an early one with the other brackets. You've seen that, and I'm using new old stock parts here from the old days. And these are the slimmer, so radius arms there, and this is what I'm doing. Not sure if you do the same, but that is my experience with getting the bits lined up and tick them off in the parts book to know everything is there. Yeah, and then will be a pleasure to reassemble that. And what else have we got? And in the meantime, I also got the original gearbox overhauled by a guy in UK. So when I was there, I dropped it, and when it was ready, I picked it up. But that is not done over the weekend, so you always need to plan 2 trips to get there. And what he has also done, so that is the here you see we got the converter. That is all new. Borg Warner, that's a number for it, model 8. So this is a brand new welded torque converter, what you need to get replaced. And yeah, that is the gearbox, as is all overhauled. And there is some hardware for the mounting, and I will go through. That's the bell housing, and you see what is missing is the flywheel. The flywheel, as I had that with the other car as well, so I think that was a little problem with the E Type automatic. The flywheel with the connecting plate between the sprocket and the hub, it got cracked, and I had that on the other car, and I had to replace it. And they are the same as for the 420, and it might work there. So we will try to get that a little bit thicker, and then get it again balanced and put it in here, so that you see this is the engine, the gearbox done, and this is all ready. Don't start with these things when you want to assemble that, because your flywheel might be broken, your torque converter might not be correct, your gearbox might not be working. And however, I get things done up front, and I want to do it right first time, and not bothering or hassling with it later when it's all installed. And here you see some other bits. This is rare items. This is for the air ventilation in the foot area. Very often these are broken or worn. You see I have a few bits spare from the other restoration, but this is how I work. For instance, here are already the some mountings already done and ready to install the engine mountings, and but I line it all up to know what is there, what isn't. The gearbox plate. The thing is, I bought that as a stalled project, and I don't know, it wasn't complete. So but what I'm doing here, I get everything lined up and try to check what is missing and what is there, so that I need to look for these parts early enough in the process that I get the things in time. And here you see, I'm sure you all have these places. So these are, I think these are screws and bolts for, yeah, I cleaned them already. These are for the door hinges. This is for the steering. You might not lose this because this is a special one. It has a special screw in here because it needs to be turned around. And don't confuse that with the upper joints. And so what else is here? Yeah, it will look similar to yours. And some electric stuff. There's a wiper motor tested, it's working, so just needs some cleaning and taking apart. There is the starter. There is the wiper mechanism and all these things. And yeah, here are all the bits for the steering, all mountings. Some of them are already painted. So I'm trying to progress. There you see there's already a new master brake cylinder, the servo, brake servo. There's the old one, and already saw a new one. And yeah, that's probably the same way you are working. And I'm just showing you this, that you understand that when we are in the process of reassembling, that most of the bits are already there. That is what I'm trying to do in the meantime while waiting for the other things to become. So, and here's still the body, and yeah, needs to be picked up hopefully next week, and then it should progress, and then I have more space for the other cars again. And yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick update. I've also stripped the seats, and because I know there is a problem, you might know. And what is the problem? The problem always is that these are breaking loose. And I already prepared the replacement sheet. But so this is something, this needs to be sandblasted. This needs to be repaired. And so we are getting there. The interiors ordered, and everything should be ready to work on while the car is at the paint shop, and then it's just a matter of reassembling. I'm pretty positive that by spring next year the car should be ready. This is actually the original. This is the original desktop, which really looks nice. Only thing is, it has a tear on here. So just for this little bit, I would have to replace it. Otherwise, I would love to keep the original. But on the other side, when you have a totally new interior, you probably want to do that as well.